we just got an announcement over here.
Yeah, welcome everybody to this class. David has been here a couple years ago. I didn't come last year because he's a very busy man, but he was here a couple years ago and did a wonderful presentation. But I want to personally give you my testimony. David has been to our house twice, working on our computer, so he's very knowledgeable, and I know you're going to learn a lot today. So I want to thank you, and thanks for coming and fixing my computer.
Thank you. Hey, no problem. Yes, so my name is David. I am the owner and operator of Layer 2 Computers. We're based out of Springboro, and we travel to you guys to help out with computers. We also do small businesses and stuff like that, but we focus a lot on residential, and we enjoy that work. It's good fun. I've been in business for 10 years now. I'm 28 years old, so pretty much my whole adult life I've been in business. It's what I enjoy doing, and I also coach gymnastics and acrobatics and stuff like that in the evenings. So I do the computer repair in the day and do that in the evenings. And this is my lovely wife Alicia, who is crocheting a sweater for a...
It's a cape for a hedgehog.
A hedgehog for a cape for a hedgehog, yes.
Not mine.
Not for us. Someone wanted it, so that's what she's doing.
Someone wanted it.
So,
For a hedgehog.
yeah, I don't know. Hey, to each their own. So, but yeah, so we are going to be going over how to maintain your home PC for beginners. So I'm hoping you guys learned something. I did type up the notes ahead of time, and then you guys can kind of add to it as you see fit. And then just so you guys know, the goal is to kind of get through the presentation at about 10:45-ish, or 10, sometime around there, and about 10-15 minutes for questions. And then Alicia and I have to drive to Pittsburgh and be there by 4 o'clock, so just so you're aware. So we got a crazy day today, so.
Good weather, anyway.
Yeah, good weather for driving, so I won't argue.
I heard there's 3 feet of snow up there.
I hope not.
I'm kidding.
I know. Phew. All right.
If it is, I want to make an epic snowman.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you a little history of me. Like I said, I've been in business for 10 years. My company is now 3 people, so it's myself, and then I have an office person who answers the phones and takes care of that side of things. So you'll always get a response within about 4 hours if you call during the week. And then I have another employee who works for me who's also awesome. A younger guy like me who does really, really good tech work, and it took me about 6 months to find someone I like, so I like him. I'm going to keep him. And then today you're going to learn a lot of stuff about hardware and software and different virus protection. Don't be afraid to raise your arm if you have any questions and stuff like that. And hopefully you'll learn a lot of stuff that is generally stuff no one teaches. In computers it's hard to find good information, so hopefully you'll learn something. So the hardware basically encompasses everything physical. So it could be like your keyboard, your mouse. It could be inside the computer. There's all sorts of different parts in here, obviously. Your CD drives. It could be the processor, the actual full tower, or the laptop is considered hardware also. Just kind of an overview there. And then 25% of home computer issues we're actually able to solve pretty quickly over the phone by one of 3 things. Check the cabling, restarting the computer, so completely turn it off and turn it back on again, and then calling your internet service provider. So it could be like Roadrunner or Spectrum. It could also be AT&T or Uverse or one of those companies. So it's always a good idea if you're having like internet trouble to maybe call them first just to see if they say anything, because they're obviously free, whereas I am a business, so it might cost money. And also restarting your computer and just checking cabling. Sometimes you'll kick a cable or something like that. So there's just some easy things to check there.
What's the term restart computer? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I'll actually show you later, but pretty much going down and powering it completely down and then powering it back up. And I'll actually show you this. I got a slide on it.
Okay.
So on the physical side of things, dust kills. So this is actually this is a picture that I took, this guy right here, and basically this gentleman came to me and he's like, my computer is like, it's running really loud and hot, and it just turns off randomly. And so something we did was pretty much just blow it out. So I have this handy little blower dude over here, and it's a high power blower, kind of like an air compressor, and it basically took it outside and then blew out all the dust, and that relieved a lot of his problems. So dust is a definitely a factor that kills your computer. So
Isn't there a certain area for a laptop you have to do?
yeah, so that's obviously a desktop there, but for a laptop, generally you do want them up a little bit, kind of tilted. So if you guys can kind of see, I'm just kind of tilting my laptop up a little bit. It's not a bad idea, and a lot of times what people do is they'll even take just like a piece of paper, fold it up a couple times, and just put two of them, and then just put it on the corners. That's good to do on your desk because then it will help kind of ventilate the laptop a little bit more by getting airflow underneath of it. But if you don't have a fancy blower or anything like that, what you can do is you can use compressed air, the big cans you can get in the store. Those work really well. Just be sure not to spray it on anything that is on. You always want to turn off the computer before you do that. That is critical. So I've had someone fry a computer one time because they had their computer on. So make sure to turn it off before you do that. So it's always good to do. Mm-hmm.
Is it a bad idea to keep it down on the floor or a lower cabinet?
As long as you don't have thousands of bugs or anything weird like that, you're generally fine on the floor. Or you're not in like a factory. I mean, I went over to a log cabin out in Oregonia area, south a little bit, and they had a ladybug infestation, so that did not help their computer, obviously. So,
What do you mean by when you dust it, you put it on the floor?
like a desktop, like actually storing it on the floor versus on a desk or something. So, yeah, it doesn't matter as long as it's relatively clean. Yeah, so if it's a desktop, you can actually take off the side of the computer really easily, and you could spray inside there, or you could just put it in all those spots that you can see inside of, like the fans. That works really well. So like on the outside of the computer, you'll see like little holes here. It's really hard to see. And I'm actually recording the presentation, so I'll email it to you guys. But there's holes in the back of the computer for ventilation. You can blow it in there, and generally that will dislodge a lot of the dust and hopefully get it out. So. Power strips and old messes. These pictures are not mine. I wish they were, but they are not. So they basically old power strips they have some issues nowadays. They tend to be okay for like a surge protection, or even some of them are literally just like this thing right here. This is literally so this one's just a power strip because it doesn't have any surge protection features on it. And so I would probably, if this was my home, I would switch this out with one that has surge protection. So what that means is if your house gets struck by lightning, or someone runs into a electrical pole or something like that, and it sends high voltage down the line, it won't fry your computer, hopefully. So I would ditch any that don't have a surge protector and get ones that do have surge protectors. And the way you can tell is generally they'll have it'll say something on it about a fuse, or it will say, they generally look a little bigger, kind of like this one. They might have little lights on it to indicate that there's current flowing in them. So you always want to get something just with a surge protector as opposed to just a power strip. And then also cable management to not look like that is also a good idea. That's just not good. You're going to trip or vacuum something up, and it's not going to be good. So.
What do you
Yeah.
put that between the computer and the outlet?
Correct, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so instead of plugging your computer directly into the wall, you would plug it into one of the power strips, and it just helps save it if there's an issue. And if you want to go one step further than that, you can actually they're called battery backups, and so they're kind of heavy, probably about like this big. They potentially weigh 10, 15, 20 pounds, but they actually have batteries in them. And what they do is when the power goes out, if you configure it, then it will tell the computer to turn off automatically, and so it prevents the computer from just like shutting down really quick, which is horrible for computers. So yeah, so it's another option. So a lot of businesses will have those. Generally at your home, if you're worried about it, then I would do it. Or if you live in an area that has a lot of like brownouts in the summer or something like that, it's a good idea. So moving on to reboots. Reboots, restart, all those words are kind of used interchangeably. And basically what it means is that you're going to completely power off the computer and you're going to turn it back on. And once I kind of go into, I'm actually going to show you some different things on my screen. I'll show you where you can do that at. But most of the time, at the bottom of your computer, on the bottom right, you're going to see the Start button, or the Windows icon. It might look like 4 little squares. If you click on that, then generally there's a power button, and then you just have to click Restart, which it is circled up there. So if you ever need to do that, the worst thing you can do for a computer is just to hold the power button, because that will actually, it doesn't correctly shut it down, and so then it doesn't have time to kind of slow down and close out stuff that's open in the background. So it's always a great idea to kind of let it shut down correctly whenever you can do that. So.
When you say clear out processes, you mean the programs you're running?
Yep. Yeah. So when you restart and reboot, it clears out all the stuff that's running in the background, and then it clears out the short-term memory or RAM. And what that stuff does is allows you to multitask. But sometimes, kind of like you have a certain amount of that in the computer, and it's a physical thing, and when it's used up, it's supposed to be reallocated, like given back to the computer, but sometimes it's not. And so when you restart the computer, it kind of re-clears it out and then gives it all back to the computer, which is obviously a good thing because then it will run faster.
David,
Yes.
so you take it down,
Mhm.
and then when that comes up, you hit restart. That's basically how you get it back on again.
So after you do the shutdown, then you can just hit your power button and then it'll turn back on as normal.
Okay, but what's the restart button for?
So the restart button will actually do that all for you. So what it does is it turns it off and then it turns it right back on automatically. So,
You don't have to turn it off to hit the restart.
correct, you don't have to.
Okay, so if I got my everything up and I want to reboot, I just hit restart.
Correct.
And take it down and bring it right back up.
It will do that automatically for you.
Oh, okay. I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Saves you a step. So you could hit that button, go walk away and do laundry and then come back and then your computer will be back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then another good thing about restarting the computer or shutting it down and turning it back on again is that it will run Windows updates and also other applications that need updating, which we got a whole section about updating, but it's just good to do. It gives the computer time to get those security updates, feature updates, and just kind of take care of all of the stuff that needs to be done in the background that it doesn't do it when the computer's on. It only does it when it's kind of turning off or turning on again. So, any questions on the reboot section? All good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me know if you can't. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is software. So like we were talking about rebooting, software is all of the programs that live on your computer.
I'm sorry.
You are all good. And so software includes like, let's say Microsoft Word. It could be Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or any of the icons that you see on your desktop. That's generally software. So anything that pops up and you can do something in it. For example, PowerPoint is a piece of software, obviously. Or software and apps are kind of interchangeable. So they're the same kind of term there. And so we're going to look at a couple different things on software. The operating system, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then also kind of some third-party stuff you can do to help with the computer. So for your operating system, I'm hoping that none of you have Windows XP. Do they know you? Do you have anyone know? Maybe, yes? All right, cool. So if you do, Microsoft stopped doing updates for Windows XP in 2014. So what that means is you're no longer secure, basically. They do updates up to a certain point, and then at that point they drop the product. So they basically say you're on your own, unless you pay Microsoft millions of dollars, and then they'll be happy to support you. But only ATM companies and the banks do that. So a lot of ATMs actually run on Windows XP, and they're still updating those. But Microsoft, they have a contract together. So the next one to go is going to be Windows Vista. So does anyone here have Windows Vista? There's probably a couple people with that. No? Now they know? Okay. So if you do have Windows Vista, it ends this April. So Microsoft's cutoff line is always in April. So they always end operating systems in April, but they decided Windows Vista is going to be dead this year. And then I think it's 2020, so we got a couple more years, Windows 7, which probably you guys, quite a few of you have Windows 7, I'm guessing. Yeah, a couple of Windows 7. I have Windows 7 still at home. So Windows 7 is a good stable operating system, but they're killing it in about 4 years, or 3 years now, so yeah.
I like your headstone up there. That's pretty sweet.
Yes, thank you, yes, the headstone. Yeah. It was bigger, but then the Windows Vista one, and I couldn't find the picture I wanted, so went with the little cute one that looks nice.
You're just like it.
So it wasn't as morbid. So one of the best things you can do, and this is on your note sheet, so don't stress too much about writing it down, is cleaning your computer with CCleaner. And CCleaner stands for crap cleaner. It gets rid of all the crap that builds up on your computer. And what it does is it goes in and cleans out all the cookies, temporary files, all of that junk that kind of builds up from just normal use of the computer. So I'm going to kind of show you how to do that, and that way you have a good idea. So my computer load back up here. There we go. So here is, and there's actually a link in your notes of where to download it at. It takes you to my website, and then from there you can see, it'll walk you through how to download and install it. It's really easy though. But CCleaner has this little icon here in the corner, the little C with a broom. And like I said, it's recorded, so don't stress if you're having a hard time seeing it. What you do is you run that, and then it pops up right here. And then we're just gonna, it says run cleaner in the corner, and like I said, I know it's hard to see. But then once you hit that, it's gonna go through your computer, and it's gonna get rid of all these stuff here, all these checkboxes on the side. It's gonna take care of all of that for you. So what it does is it's gonna speed up your computer. It's gonna allow it to run more efficiently. It's a really, really good free piece of software. And question, yes?
How often should you do that? Like I do it every time I'm going to shut my computer.
Yeah, every time you're shutting down. Yeah, I recommend, generally it's based on use. If you only use your computer once a week, then do it once a week. If you're using it every day, maybe even every day or every other day or every couple days. It's a good idea to do. It just, cleans stuff out. So.
I have a question.
Oh.
Go
How
ahead.
is this different from Spybot?
So Spybot is more malware, where this one's just cleaning out the it's not bad stuff that's on your computer, it's just removing all the stuff that's not needed anymore.
Okay.
Whereas Spybot's going to remove like virus, anti-malware type
If
stuff.
you don't have Internet Explorer,
You'll skip it.
okay,
Mhm.
will it do Google Chrome?
Yes, it does Google Chrome, which it's actually Google. So
Oh,
I had Internet Explorer right there, and then Google Chrome is right there. And if you had like Mozilla Firefox, that would be listed in there. It actually cleans out a lot of stuff with your downloads and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
I used to have CC Cleaner.
Mhm.
Suddenly, for some reason, the computer tells me I can't put it on my computer. I can't remember why they said. But for some reason, they're saying I can't put CC Cleaner on the computer.
They have a paid-for version and a free version.
I had
You did have the free version. Sometimes it automatically upgrades to the paid-for version, like a trial of it, and then it won't allow you to run the free version. So maybe try completely uninstalling it and then reinstalling it again, and that
Okay.
might work.
Just take it off.
Yeah,
programs.
completely take it off and then re-put it on. Yeah,
Does that does that CCleaner automatically come with Windows 10?
it does not. No, and so like I said, on your notes in the sheet that I typed up, it actually has a link on my website that you can go in and you can download it from there, and then it'll walk you through how to install it. And actually, it kind of gives you like a good breakdown. It's like a one-page document of how to utilize CCleaner. It's really good.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yes.
A company called AVG, they make that security software.
Yes.
I bought their program which is called PC Tuner.
Mhm.
Now, was that a waste of money knowing that this is for free?
We don't recommend PC TuneUp. This is really lightweight. Like it doesn't slow down your computer much, especially when it's running or in the background. Whereas we've discovered that PC TuneUp over the years, it's gotten very bloated, I guess would be the term. Maybe see it through its subscription and get rid of it potentially. But I mean, this does everything, and it does it better from what we've discovered. So
When my contract expires,
Kill it.
you better not use it.
yeah, it does good. Yeah, it's a great program.
Is this the same as Disk Cleaner?
It is not. No. So Disk Cleaner, that's a little default Windows application, and it goes in and it does a very low-level version of this. I guess it sort of does the same thing, but this is a much better program. This encompasses a lot more stuff on the computer. In fact, the other feature of it is right here, and so there's a couple different tabs across here. The first one says Cleaner, and that one does all the file cleaning, gets rid of the cookies and stuff like that. The next one says Registry, and does anyone know what the registry is?
Yes.
Registry? Anyone know? No? Okay, so the registry, you kind of know. It's basically a giant database of, I would say, parameters or settings for programs. And a lot of times there's actually old stuff in there, which I haven't run it for a couple days, and so we'll see what we find and how bad I was on my computer. But basically it goes in and it gets rid of all of the stuff that's not necessary. And
Where is it in there?
yeah, so it's basically scanning in the computer to see what isn't needed out of the registry. And like I said, the registry just stores a lot of parameters or other information. It's good to have. You have to have the registry. If you didn't, your computer wouldn't turn on. But this gets rid of all the stuff that's not necessary. So then once it finds it, Then we just select fix selected items or issues.
This is on your Windows 10 automatically.
No, it's not on Windows 10 automatically. This is something you have to download and install, which on the sheet, it's the first item under software maintenance. And that will walk you through how to download that.
Where?
Under software maintenance,
okay.
right at the top there. Yep. Yes, question. Oh, they're on the table over there. Yep. Mhm.
Will this
Yeah, uh-huh.
get rid of something that you need
Nope.
sometime?
I have never, we've literally been using the same software for 10 years and we've seen it like grow and develop. I've never once had an issue where it deleted something that either you created, like pictures or documents, or it like completely made your computer not work. I've literally never seen an issue with it. I'm not going to say when happened, but I've never seen an issue with it with 10 years of
It
experience.
doesn't put it back to the registry default.
No, it doesn't do any like defaulting or anything like that. It just gets rid of all the stuff that's not necessary.
To get what you have on there
Mhm.
now, you clicked on that second thing.
Yes.
in the column.
Yeah,
You
it's
should check that, I mean, so that your computer
yeah. I leave everything checked by default. There are only really some certain cases where we would get rid of some of the checkboxes. Honestly, most of them probably won't affect you guys. The really only case where I've ever messed with it is if in a business where they need to keep some certain stuff on their computer that typically isn't necessary, but because they have some software that requires it. But very small cases.
So you only have to use the one box.
Oh, the top one that says cleaner.
Just-
Yeah, I mean, I would do the registry one. You don't have to do it as often, but I would do it. Once a month, once a week, something like that. So it's good to do, and you will notice a big speed improvement. This is one of the best things you can do to improve the speed on your computer. Is just run CCleaner.
So we're on security software, is that right now?
This one isn't security software. This one so it's not like virus protection like Norton or McAfee. This one just gets rid of all your clutter on the computer.
But if you only had malware and UDG free, is that enough security?
We'll get there.
Huh?
We'll,
I'm
we'll get
sorry.
there. Yep. No, you're good.
I thought
We will get there. I
lost it a while
promise.
back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
When you said the registry was a database, is that part of the software or is that stuff you can what makes it down?
Yeah, what makes it there? So the registry is there from the moment you turn your computer on the first time. You know how when you turn the first time you've set up a computer house, it's like setting up Windows and stuff like that. Basically, it's configuring it and it's doing everything to get you to a point where you can use the computer, and it's starting that up and stuff like programs you put in there will edit it and change it and put things in it.
Okay, so if you don't use a folder for a while, will it take it out?
Oh no, it'll never do that. No, it'll never ever remove anything you create. Only applications. That was more of your question. Yeah, only the programs and applications. That's all it affects.
And when you said software and apps are interchangeable, what are widgets then? Are they part of that?
Widgets are something that those are more Android phone based. Microsoft used to do widget type things, but honestly, there was a really big security issue with them, and so they killed them. But those were basically like in the corner of your computer, you might have like a big clock there, or it might like cycle through pictures or something like that. Those were kind of widgets. They're not really utilized anymore. Microsoft did away with those a couple years ago. So, yeah. All right. That's the wrong button. Let it load, and then we'll. Cool. All right. So that was CCleaner, and like I said, great program. Highly suggested. So the next one is defragging. Does anyone know what defragging is? Yeah, I got an idea. Cool. So it kind of like lines up all your files to make them easier and faster to read. Because the way hard drives work and when your data is stored, it might put, we'll use these tables as an example. It might put part of my picture over there, part of it over there, part of it over there, and part of it on that long table over there. So what defragging does is it puts all the sections on one table. So it will put the whole picture right there, then the next picture right there, the next picture right there. So instead of it being sliced up, it puts it in one spot. And the benefit to doing that is it allows your computer to run more efficiently. Now, that being said, it is kind of an old school thing to do. It's not really necessary on a modern day computer. Starting at Windows 7, Microsoft does it automatically for you. So if you have Windows 7 or 8, 8.1, or 10, you don't have to do anything. It will automatically do it in the background, which is great. It just does it when it decides it's off hours. So let's say your computer learns that you're mostly on your computer between the hours of 9 and 11:30 a.m. During the week. It will do it when the computer's on at a different time in the day, so it won't slow you down. It's really cool. Again, you don't have to do anything, and even on some modern day computers, depending on what type of hardware you have in it, you don't even have to do it at all, and the computer knows that. So it's pretty cool.
You have to schedule the time that it's done, or no?
It just decides.
Oh,
It'll decide based upon the use of your computer. So I mean, if you're using it 24/7, it'll just pick the time when it's less used. If you're using it between, like I said, the hours of like 9 and like 11:30, it'll maybe do it at like 1 p.m. or something. So.
Do you have to download that program to get it?
Oh, good question. So defragging, it's built into the computer. That one does come with Windows 10 or Windows 7 or whatever. But like I said, you don't have to do it. And if you have a Mac, it also does it on its own. So you don't need to stress over that.
If you can leave the computer on all the time,
Mhm.
is that, because otherwise it's going to turn off.
Yeah, if it's turned off, obviously it can't run it, but it will do it next time the computer turns on. You don't have to like turn the computer on specifically to really do anything here. I only turn my computer on when I'm using it, and there's no need to leave it on all the time. You can. It doesn't hurt it anymore, but that's kind of up to you.
Windows XP doesn't do it on that.
Windows XP does not. Yep.
Do you recommend of shutting it down all the time?
Yeah, so I think I cover that? I think I took that slide out, but needless to say, so with computers, back when they first came out, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was a good idea to turn it off, when you weren't using it. At this point, they've done studies, and it makes no difference whether you turn it off or you leave it on all the time.
Is that true with laptop too?
Yeah, with laptops too. Now, my recommendation, though, is I would turn it off either once a week or, restart it, turn it off and turn it back on again type of thing. Or just what I do is I just turn it off when I'm not using it. Or with a laptop, you can just close the lid, and that will kind of put it into sleep mode. And a lot of the modern desktops will do that also. So when they detect that you haven't used it for a while, it'll just automatically go to sleep, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about in the case of updates? Don't you have to turn your computer off and turn it back on again?
That is why I do recommend it at least once a week to turn it off and then turn it back on. Yeah, it's a great idea. Again, like the rebooting, it will do those security updates and those feature updates and stuff like that. So it's a great idea to do that.
Isn't that electrical draw though, leaving it on?
There is, yeah. And some people, it's been calculated like a normal, like this laptop, I read reports on it. I think it costs me like $60 a year, which is quite a bit if you think about it, if I leave it on all the time. But obviously I don't, because most of the time it's in my bag. But with a desktop, they tend to use a little bit more. So anywhere from, depending on the size and everything, but anywhere from like $35 to like $120 a year is kind of the average of a computer, which that adds up. So especially if you have like one computer for every person in the house, it doesn't make sense. Turn them off.
That you would wear it out faster leaving it on, even in a sleep mode.
Even in sleep mode, it's, like I said, the studies have shown that it doesn't affect it. We're talking like 1 or 2% of life. And realistically, by the time the computer physically, by the time the hardware dies, generally it's time to get a new computer anyways at that point. So, but yeah, there are parts in a computer that do wear, but they have them pretty mastered at this point, I guess you could say. So, yeah. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit too. So the next thing of software is updates. So we always recommend, Apple or Microsoft, they pretty much force us to, and so this is the schedule they put you to, is every month they will push out on, it's called Patch Tuesday, and I think it's the third Tuesday of the month, they update Windows, second or third Tuesday of the month. They do updates, and so they force you to install updates. So you might go away for a month on vacation down to Florida or something, and you come back, turn your computer on, and it might take like an hour to turn on because it says updating, and it just has that circle spinning endlessly, it seems like. And it'll say like, 1 of 72 updates, and you're like, seriously? So it's good to do those. It's really necessary, but the more often you turn your computer off and on, the less likely you will be to have a big grouping of updates. So, like I said, at least Microsoft and Apple release those at least once a month. If they have a big security issue, they'll release one. Like, let's say some hacker hacked into Microsoft and they discovered what the issue was, they would update it tomorrow if it was a big issue. So.
Are they the things they update, Flash, Java, and Acrobat?
I'm getting there. Yep, I promise.
Oh,
No, you're
I
fine.
didn't understand the names.
Nope, you're good. So Windows, like I said, those are things you don't need to worry about too much. Windows does them automatically. Now for the third-party updates, which are the little icons down there, those include like Flash and Java, Acrobat Reader. I'm sure all of you have seen those pop-ups happen, where it's like, you need to update. It's a good idea to do those. My one thing is make sure that you know it's a legitimate update, because a lot of times if you're on the internet and those updates pop up, you never want to do them if you're just like browsing a news website. The issue is with that, they tend to be either like scams or actually it can be a virus disguised in an update. So you just want to make sure that those updates are legitimate. And some ways you can tell is if they generally turn on with the computer. So first thing when you first turn on the computer, that's a good sign. That means it's probably legitimate. And then read it for typos, because hackers are pretty stupid sometimes, and they will put really obvious typos, spelling stuff wrong, missing, punctuation marks, not capitalizing letters that should be capitalized. So that's a really easy way to tell. Or if it's like obnoxiously flashing at you, nothing legitimate will ever do that on your computer. It's not a good sign. Can't close it. Yeah, they got swim meet, I think. So, so that's kind of on the updates. Any questions on the third-party updates before we move down over on there? Oh, good, cool. So the next one is your antivirus updates, which my next slide covers antivirus specifically, but those should be updating either daily or hourly now. The ones that I use, and I recommend that they're either hourly or we even go down to half hour now. The reason we do that is because there's literally hundreds and hundreds of new viruses being discovered every hour. From a programming, like from a geek point of view, it's really easy to make a virus. So it's, people make millions of dollars from them. And so because of that, you just got to make sure you're being updated that often. So, any questions on
I
updates?
have a program that's supposed to do that.
What program?
I don't know the name.
Okay. Because some of them might be fake or just doing nothing. But yeah, if it's like a driver update, you just kill it. Yeah.
Is this security time?
Almost.
Almost.
We will be there next slide, I promise.
I
Yes,
was
on
gonna ask you
updates.
if you
Yeah.
said that.
You make the comment that the XP is not supported.
Correct.
So that means that there's no update coming in on it.
Correct.
So it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I would either recommend new computer.
well, I have one.
Oh, you do? Oh, you're just kind of still on the older one and then
Well,
moving up.
I've got 10 and I sure as heck don't know how to use it.
It is a little different. I'll be teaching a class with Windows 10 too.
Oh,
Well,
good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I mean, I have a lot of things on the
Okay.
XP.
Oh, that you need off onto the new one.
Yes.
Oh, we do that too.
And it,
Yeah.
can you just take like this cleaner from the flash drive and download it to clean?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. As for migrating your data over, that's something that obviously we can take care of too, just so you know. But yeah, I mean, you'd want to clean off both of them with the CCleaner and stuff. So, someone else have a updates question? Okay. On to security. So, security software. Hence the slide. So free is, well, free. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We don't recommend it just because they are in the industry of, they want to get your money from you, and so they're going to spam you or annoy you until you make a purchase. Or you can just ignore it, but that's obviously up to you. And so like, AVG has a free one, Avast has a free one. There's a lot of free ones out there. It's better than nothing, but not generally what we would recommend. Even the default Microsoft Security Essentials, which comes with every computer from Windows 7 on, it's okay. Again, it's better than nothing, so it works decently. But the ones we recommend are Malwarebytes, which is this icon right here, and I think there might be a link on there. No, okay, I didn't put a link on there because if you were to email me, I could email you that. But Malwarebytes, it's Malwar and then Bytes. So bytes like a computer byte. Because there are a bunch of geeks at that company and they're awesome though. So they're really good. And we sell that software too. It's basically $40 a year is what that one is. And then these other two little icons here, they are more to represent any other security that is a paid for good app. So we offer, I don't want to make a sales pitch, but we offer some different virus protection, stuff like that. We manage them completely for you, and then you guys can do nothing. We offer that kind of stuff. But, I mean, Norton and McAfee, they're okay. They tend to just kind of slow down your computer a little bit more. So, again, we don't recommend them for that reason, because they affect the performance of your computer, whereas Malwarebytes is going to be very slim. It doesn't affect the performance in a negative way, and also the ones that we're offering, they don't affect your performance. So.
Is it detrimental to have Norton and
McAfee?
McAfee?
It is very detrimental on both at the same time, yeah. I would only recommend either one or two potentially, but the combination is important. Like, you don't want to run Norton and McAfee together. They're just going to explode and kill each other. But like Malwarebytes and like Spybot is an okay combination that works pretty well, or Malwarebytes and like, I mean, if you have the one through us, that's all you need. But some people still like the added benefit of having Malwarebytes, and that's okay. So, yes, now it's time. Yeah.
Now, so my AVG free and my Malwarebytes is not adequate.
That's a pretty good combination. As long as you're running them, because Malwarebytes, the free version, doesn't do anything automatically, whereas a paid-for version of Malwarebytes does do automatic scanning.
Okay, these are both free.
They're both free. So AVG, I think their default scan schedule on free is either once a week, and then their updates, I think, come in like once a day.
Yeah, they're free.
Is it? Okay, yeah. And then Malwarebytes, again, that only updates and runs when you tell it to. It's a great program. It's just, that's one of the benefits of having the paid-for version is it does it for you. So
I can stay with what I have.
yeah, you're okay, yeah. You're better off than probably 80% of the population.
I know.
Yeah, so in the back, yeah.
I have AVG on my computer and it wouldn't work after a while. And I called this person who
Mhm.
consult me, and he said to take it off because Windows just updated something and they were fighting. It had something to do with Defender.
Yeah, Windows Defender, and that's the default one that comes with them. Security Essentials or Windows Defender. Same program, different name depending on what operating system you have. And yes, they do fight each other. Whenever we install ours, we actually disable Windows Defender. Or with Malwarebytes, we might keep it on, but it does tend to fight a little bit with Norton or McAfee or any of the big names out there.
Windows Defender or what?
It depends on what version of Windows you have, but it's either Windows Defender or Microsoft Security Essentials. Either one, it's the same program. It's just a facelift, and one looks differently than the other one, so same thing in the background, yes.
I have Windows 10 and I have Windows Defender.
Okay, yeah, the little shield in the corner, yep.
And malware.
Okay, Malwarebytes, okay.
That's a pretty good system.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good setup, yeah. It's not going to protect you from everything. And so the latest and greatest viruses out there, they're called ransomware. Have you guys heard of those?
I've got that.
You got one. It's a pain in the butt. With the protections that I recommend here, they are all kind of anti-ransomware pieces of software. Now, again, that's evolving so quickly. It's not perfect, though. So you might have Malwarebytes and you can get ransomware because it's a new one that they didn't update for yet. Or you might even have something I have, and that, but that being said, I've never had an infection, but I can't guarantee that you won't get infected with it, obviously. But ransomware, it basically goes in and it locks all your files and kind of makes them so you can't access them. So hackers are hitting accounting firms, hospitals, tax companies, all those places, small medical clinics, your local mom and pop doctor type thing. And what they're doing is they're locking their files, and then they're basically charging the office $2,000 to get their files back. It's a great way to make some money if you're into that. It's obviously highly illegal. A lot of companies, or a lot of it's based out of like Eastern Europe. The Russia, those type of companies. That's just, or those types of organizations. Organized crime, obviously, a lot of that. So, but they're bad. So, and really only the way you can protect yourself against that is to have adequate backup, which we'll get there in a minute. So, any questions on protections and that type of stuff?
One more.
Is Viper a good program?
Viper's pretty good. Yeah, we actually used to use Viper and sell Viper. I upgraded to a different one, but it's what we were using about a year and a half ago. It's pretty good though.
Microsoft is called Security what?
Security Essentials or Windows Defender, depending on what version. Cool. So the next one is about browsing safe on the internet. You have a couple of different options. I would not recommend using Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge, there's a lot of compatibility or security issues with that. So one of the links on the software section of the little notes there, it actually talks about Google Chrome. And again, you would go to my website and it walks you through how to download that. But Google Chrome and Firefox are basically different. Like think of those windows over there. Like the one on the left over here is Internet Explorer, so you get to see that across there, and the ones on the right are Google Chrome. It gets you to the same spot. It just does it differently how it gets there, which it's quite important. There's a lot more security with Google Chrome and Firefox, whereas Microsoft has been kind of lax on that subject. They haven't been very proactive. And then the other thing is a good ad blocker, which we always recommend. So there are two different ones that we recommend. The one on the sheet talks about AdBlock Plus, which is great. And then there's this new guy on the block that we're still kind of testing, but I figured I'd talk about. It's called uBlock Origin. So uBlock Origin or AdBlock Plus. You don't need both at the same time. You only need one. They work really well. They get rid of all the advertisements when you're browsing the internet. So for example, let me kind of show you here. Let's see if it'll load up.
You block one
uBlock Origin.
origin.
Origin, O-R-G-I-N, yep. So for example, I'm just going to use like msn.com. Am I even online? No, I'm not.
That looks familiar to me.
Yep. We've all seen it. Yeah. So I'm using Google Chrome right here. That's what that is, and I have a bunch of different websites open, but
When I open Google Chrome, there's a little message up top that says, "Do you want to download Firefox? Do I want to do that?"
that's probably, do you use Yahoo for your homepage?
Yeah.
That's why. Yahoo pays, or Firefox pays Yahoo for the endorsement. That's all. With that one, yeah. So msn.com, for example, it's going to load up here, hopefully. Yay. Okay, cool. So this is MSN, partially loaded. Okay. So there it is without advertisements. And I know it's still loading. It's a little slow, but... And you're going to notice there's going to be like a big white box here, or a big blank spot. But that's a good thing, because what it's doing is it's blocking the advertisements. And then I'm going to disable the ad blocker. Right-click on that guy. We're just going to remove it temporarily. And yeah, I know I don't want to, but I will. And then we're going to refresh this page, and you're going to notice it's going to take longer. And then, well, that was actually quicker because I had cache. But now you're going to see these big advertisements. I don't care about TurboTax. I already got tax people. You know, so you're going to just see a bunch of junk and clutter kind of on the computer. So it basically makes your web browsing easier, smoother, faster, more secure, because then you're not going to get those big pop-up ads that show you everything. Yeah, so, and the way you can install those is, like I said, there's a link on the notes, and I'll walk you through how to install it. Question?
There's two of them. uBlock Origin. What was the first one?
uBlock Origin and AdBlock Plus. Mm-hmm. Yep. So those are really good, though. So.
Are they?
Yes, they're both free. Yeah, and they. To be honest with you, with computers, you always want to track where the money's coming from. I think they just both take donations, so they're not like out to get you in a subscription service or anything. They work really well. So. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you can move all of your bookmarks and favorites and stuff like that over to Google Chrome or Firefox. It will do that automatically once you install it and set it up. It's really
You
easy.
told me Firefox was supported by Yahoo, but should I download it? When
Well,
it's asking
Firefox
that?
is paying Yahoo for their endorsement, whereas Google Chrome is obviously Google-based. Firefox is really, it's actually a nonprofit organization, but they're just paying for Yahoo.
So I
for
should
their-
or shouldn't?
It's up to you. It's better than Internet Explorer, though. So if you're using Internet Explorer, then I would put Firefox on.
You have to have one or the other.
It's well, and with web browsers, you could have Google Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer all at the same time. And
Oh.
sometimes you have to do that. I mean, you guys
Thank
probably never
you.
would, but yes, you can. Yeah, that's an option. So data backup, which we're running a little behind here, but we'll get rolling. So on data backup, it's always a good idea to have at least 3 copies of any, quote, mission-critical data. So that might be tax forms or baby pictures or, Christmas pictures or whatever. Anything that you want to save and you don't want to lose. So the kind of rule is you want it on 2 different things. So in the computer and maybe an external hard drive. And then you want it in 2 different locations. So that might mean in the computer, on an external hard drive or like a flash drive, and then also on like a cloud backup of some kind. Which there's a bunch of different options out there. Again, we have an offering that we do, but they're all kind of comparable. They just back up your photos and all your documents and stuff like that online, and a secure server that's encrypted. And that way, if your computer explodes or it pour water on it or it gets stolen or whatever, then you still have access to that data. So, any questions on backup? Doing good? But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just keep a backup of your data, because if you get ransomware, sometimes there's no way to get your files back unless you pay the hackers $1,000. So
Windows 10 doesn't do that automatically.
nothing does it automatically. You have to configure it. It is possible though within Windows 10. You basically plug in like a flash drive, and then it'll ask you what to do, and then you can say backup, and it'll do it.
I didn't understand that third one. Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
cloud? Or
Yeah, a cloud
drive
backup.
or something?
So on the slide, it was, you want it on two different places that are near you. So either on the computer, obviously, then on like an external hard drive or a flash drive. And then there's software we can put on your computer, and it'll back it up onto the cloud, so into the magical cloud above us. It basically just saves it on servers that are someone else's computers.
Now, is Google Drive the same as?
Google Drive it's not technically a backup service, but you can accomplish the same type of thing with it. I mean, they advertise it as not a backup service. Google Drive is more like Microsoft Word type stuff, and then you can access all those files and kind of edit them, and documents and Excel sheets and stuff like that. But Google Drive will back up your photos and stuff like that. In fact, I think it's called Google Photos now, but they will do that for you if you have a Google account.
Is there a preference to Microsoft Cloud and Google Cloud?
Not at all. Different use cases. Depending on what you're doing, it might be better one way or the other. So, Yep. So obviously, when you're getting rid of computers, it's important that you don't get rid of your data with it. There have been cases where the government's obviously gotten better about this in the 2000s, but in the 90s, the government was getting rid of computers, and they were selling them on like, for example, eBay, or not on eBay themselves, but they were selling it to wholesalers who were then selling on eBay, and people were buying those computers, wanting like a computer or like a server, and then they were finding like Department of Defense data on their computer when they turned it on. So, yeah, not the best idea. Obviously, they've done away with it. They don't do that anymore. They got better processes in place, but it's really easy as a consumer for us to do that. So I recommend that whenever you're getting rid of a computer, to make sure that you take out the hard drive, which it looks like this. This guy right here, the little box. It's about a little bit bigger than my phone here. And what that does is that's what stores all of your data. So once you know you have everything off of it, then just take a hammer to it or drill some holes in it, and that'll kill it.
Can you just put it in water?
No, they can read the data still. I could recover the data if it's water damage, yeah.
Or once you're done saving your data, you can just reformat the whole thing?
I could still read your data. Guarantee it.
Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only way to really destroy it is drilling holes in it. And then even technically, there are companies that can recover data off of stuff like that. They'll just be missing chunks of it where the hole was.
It's amazing.
The 100% best way is sulfuric acid, but that's not really useful. So, I mean, that's what the government does. They put in acid and they format it 100 times and whatever. So, yeah, I got a jug in the back, right? Yeah.
So if you get rid of that hard drive, the rest of the computer, you can
It's junk, yeah. You can just throw that away. And I wouldn't throw it away. I recycle it. So Goodwill will take them. Every year, I take about, 50 computers. We got them piled up in the garage. About 50 or 60 computers and monitors and stuff. We take them to Goodwill. They somehow make money off of it. Or you can you can get rid of them there. Or if you have a bunch, you can take them to a recycling center, and they'll actually pay you by the pound, which is probably what I'm going to do this time, because it's a bunch of junk. So, yeah. But just be careful. Any keyboards and stuff like that, again, you can donate them, recycle them, give them to someone. A lot of times someone will, let's say you upgrade your computer and you don't want the old one, I'll take it with me, I'll refurbish it, and I give them away to whoever needs them. Or Chromebooks are something that we're doing this year. Is we just did a Chromebook drive for Spring Grove School District to help give them to kids that are underprivileged. So we'll be reconditioning and refurbishing a bunch of these. They're basically web browsers in a laptop and donating them back to the school to give to kids. So we do all sorts of stuff like that, just for fun. Yeah, it's cool. We like it. So, our do not list. So avoid free movies, TV, and stuff like that online. Anything free generally comes with a catch, and you have to look where the money's coming from. It's just really important that you kind of track that down. So if it's free, you're probably the customer, or you're the thing being sold. So example, Facebook. It's free to you, but it would cost me as a business to advertise to you. So if I wanted to advertise, I could select, I want females to see my ad who are between the age of 49 and 75 that live in this area that drive a Buick. I could target it pretty much that specifically on any of those, on Google or Facebook. And so you're the thing being sold to me as business. So you always want to kind of track the money, so there is always another side to it. So, and like with CCleaner, for example, they have a paid for version that will do it automatically again, but it's not necessary with that one since it's not like mission critical security. Avoid any risks. Oh, yeah, you want to avoid any risky websites. So in the sense of like, if something pops up and it's like, click here to view this video of so and so whatever doing something in the back room, I would suggest not clicking there to view it. Obviously, there's ethics to go with that, but you just want to be careful with those websites because they tend to be infected and they might put malware on your computer. So, and then watch out with the random update messages. Again, look for typos. Make sure they're not like blinking and flashing obnoxiously at you. Those are generally not legitimate. Yes.
How do hackers get into your address book? I recently got an ad and it had people in my address book listed. It wasn't malicious. It was just advertisement.
Just an advertisement.
But
Yeah.
I knew it was fake because it's.
It had
they
something,
don't know
yeah.
each other.
Yeah, so what they do is they will hack into, let's say, what was it? I mean, Yahoo got hacked recently for like, I don't know, they had like billions of email addresses that were hacked.
Right, right.
And so everyone had to reset their passwords. Well, what the hackers do, they're smart. And so they know that you're most likely going to use that email and that password combination on multiple websites. So they will then take that and then they'll try logging into hundreds of different websites with that combination just to see if it works. And if it does, then they'll steal the information out of it. Or what they'll do is, let's say, what's another website that was hacked? I mean, it happens to small-time websites all the time, but let's say you were a membership of a local club of some kind, and you use that email and that password. Then they hack that, they get that, and then they're going to be like, oh, it's a Yahoo account. So I'm going to try to log into Yahoo with that email account and that password, and they're going to send it to all of your contacts.
So it's better not to use one.
You don't want to, well, I don't recommend Yahoo for that reason, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people have it, but email-wise, Gmail or Outlook.com are generally the best ones out there that are free. Again, you're being advertised to, but it's a free option. So,
Gmail and what's in it?
and Outlook.com, that's Microsoft's.
And, that's Microsoft's and the
Correct.
person was Google.
Google, correct. But yeah, you just got to kind of watch out. And reusing passwords is really important. I know you hear about that in the news and stuff, so you just got to be careful with that. And then,
You
oh
can
wait,
have
I
an
skipped that
email
one.
account and a Google.
Yep.
And an MS.
MSN, yep.
Outlook.
And Outlook, you could have 20,000 email addresses if you want to.
Okay.
Some people do. Got one for the dog and cat and hamster and the hedgehog that you're
On
building.
the do not list,
Me too.
what was the third one?
The third one on the do not list was make sure not to click on any risky updates.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you.
Yep, and the do list is be careful what you download. So if you don't know what it is, just close out of it. And if it won't go away, turn off your computer and then turn it back on again. A lot of times you'll get those pop-ups that you can't get rid of. Literally the only option that's easy is to turn your computer off and then turn it back on. And then know where you're downloading from. So don't just go to Google and type in like download malware or download antivirus or something like that. You're going to get some crazy website based in who knows where that's just trying to infect your computer. And then use a safe web browser like we talked about before. So Google Chrome or Firefox with an ad blocker in it. That's, like I said, one of the best things you can do is use an ad blocker. And then different upgrades here. So you have RAM upgrades, which basically increase the capability of the computer to multitask. So as humans, we like to think we can multitask and have like 100 different things open at once. Well, the computer actually can multitask, and it does it really efficiently. But the more stuff you have open, the more resources it takes. And so we can do some really inexpensive upgrades to help with that problem. So if you feel like your computer is slow and we determine that an upgrade is available, generally it's like less than $100. They're really good upgrades. Literally, we just order the part, we come to your house, put it in, and then we're good to go. So that's just good stuff to do. And then the other option is we can upgrade your hard drive to what's called a solid-state drive, which there's a link on there. I don't want to go too much into solid-state drives because there's a lot to do with that, but there is a link on the notes towards the bottom. And basically, they're faster. Like you're talking like 10 to 20 times faster than like a traditional normal computer and normal computer hard drive. And they have no moving parts. There's less problems. They don't heat up. They're awesome. So that's what I have in my computer. And I think I got one. But they're really good. So you can watch a video on my website about
My
that.
Zoom will not stay. It keeps jumping.
The cursor, like the arrow. Or,
It just changes Zoom.
oh, that's probably a little software bug. I bet we could figure it out, but yeah.
Thank you.
So we got about, not to rush it, but I got about 5-6 minutes for questions, and then I have to drive to Pittsburgh. So questions away. And then, like I said, it's recorded, so I will email that to you guys if you filled out your email over there.
Where are you physically located?
Oh, yeah.
Bring a computer to you.
So we either come to you or we do have a drop-off spot. We operate out of Springboro, so right down the highway. But like I said, it's $25 for us to come up here for a trip charge. And then we charge $80 an hour. And so we charge it's a 1 hour minimum and then half hour after that, half hour increments. So we're right in the middle of kind of where you're at with any other companies. And then, but if you want to drop it off and save the trip charge, you can do that. If you were to call the number, Sherry, who does all my phone stuff, she will gladly provide that information to you. It's just a lot of, we send you an email with kind of confirmation and stuff like that, but it's just
So typically, would you charge an hour for your service?
Yeah, so like I said, it's $80 an hour. Most jobs, like a cleanup or your computer's running slow, generally take an hour to an hour and a half. If it starts running over that, we start looking at potentially doing something different or taking it with us. And we know that really quickly. Like if I were to come to your house and I look at it and I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. I might just say, let me just take it with me, it'd be cheaper, and I'll do that. So we're always very honest about that. We're not out to pillage or anything like that. We love fixing computers, that type of thing. So.
What about that remote?
Oh yeah, we totally do remote stuff. Yes, that's the other option we do. We do remote service also. So, you have a random glitch, and for that we actually charge in 15-minute increments. So it's cheaper, number one, and it's generally easier, and we can do it at different hours too. In the morning, earlier in the mornings, that type of stuff.